You can tell the difference, right?
Oh, yeah.
The one who wants to be more settled actually wants to be with you. Not telling you to stay home so you don't cramp her style.
Yeah.
Crimp her style?
Yeah.
You're going to have to get real in spite of your emotions.
Yeah. I just thought that 20 years old, she should be over that by now, but I guess I was wrong, I suppose.
She should be over it. So you thought she should be over it. Therefore, what she's doing, since it doesn't meet what you think should be, you're going to ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
You should be a very different person.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm going to say that to people now. I thought people 5'10" should be more different than this.
Yeah.
I'm going to try that and see if that changes anybody. What do you think my chances are?
I don't know.
What do you think my chances are?
Of changing people?
Yes.
Not very good.
Give me a number. Do I have a 0% or 100% or what in between? By virtue of what I want them to be, what chance do I have of changing somebody into what I want them to be?
0.
Okay, you answered your own question.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
All right. Now don't go back and act stupid thinking you can make it happen anyway.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Sarai? I'm Dr. Laura Schlesinger. My number, she's 20. She should be, you got to be kidding. That's when they first get out of the house and feel this sense of freedom. Oh, good. No rules anymore. I'm Dr. Laura Schlesinger. My number, 1-800-Dr. Laura.
Down in London town to go. Oh, with the record selection and the mirror's reflection, I'm dancing with myself. Oh, when there's no one else inside, in the crowded lonely night. Well, I wait so long for my love vibration, and I'm dancing with myself.
Alrighty, I'm Dr. Laura Schlesinger. My number, 1-800-Dr. Laura, 1-800-DRLAURA. I received something very interesting. A woman, her name is Jill Chapin, C-H-A-P-I-N, Chapin. She's the author of a book called If You Have Kids, Then Be a Parent. Sounds like something I'd say. She lives in Santa Monica, and she wrote an article in a local newspaper called The Outlook in Santa Monica. Baby boomers don't understand the pain of single-parent families. And evidently there was some discussion of single parenthood by artificial insemination and, discussing the value of a two-parent family to kids. It is amazing to me that anybody thinks they have an argument about this. Well, she was distressed because somebody wrote a letter to the editor attacking her. And I would have assumed it would have been as stupid as the one that's in there. Because what's typical is, so, author Jill Chapin thinks that if a woman is not married to a man, she should give up thoughts of being a parent. And it gets dumber from there. I mean, it's not worth reading. It's too dumb. Because basically what she does is, there are two-parent families where the father murders the kids. So what she does to make her point, she doesn't deal with the fact that it is the ideal situation to have a two-parent family. That some people collapse and fail at that doesn't take away that truth. But this idiot woman who wrote the letter to the editor, so I won't give her name now that I've called her an idiot woman, uses the argument that because there are some failures in that the rule is not true. That's absurd logic. That's not logic. Something is true whether people fail at it or not. That's like saying I'm Jewish. There is no value to kosher because yesterday I accidentally or somebody put a shrimp in my food. If there's a mistake or a failure, it doesn't eliminate the value of the idea, the ideal, or the rule, or the law. what this is the mindless thinking, and I don't know how you put those two words together, of people who don't care about ideals. They care only about satisfying their needs. And they are a large percentage of our population now. There is no what is right. There is only what I want. And if you don't like it, the hell with you. You have a problem. I mean, we had a woman, Larry almost fell out of his seat, and my eyes got so big, they looked like flying saucers, where single mother. She was the child of a single mother. And in the middle of her call, and this was a very calm woman. This was no hysteric, no neurotic. I didn't detect anything odd or weird about this woman. She was solid. And she said in the middle of the call, I wish my mother had put me up for adoption so I could have had a two-parent family. And I had never heard anybody articulate it so bluntly. And Larry just twirled in his chair and eyes open. And my jaw dropped and I said nothing, which for me is something close to a miracle. So Jill was all upset about this letter to the editor and figured I'd be the best person to respond. I'm not going to bother to respond in this newspaper to this. I mean, it's too stupid. I don't spend my time with this. But just to say that that's not a logical argument. It's people without a morality. Their new morality, maybe I should not say it's an amorality, they actually have a morality, and the morality is what suits me. That some people fail at an ideal doesn't destroy the value of the ideal for the millions living up to it. And Jill, the moon is not bothered by the baying of wolves. Don't let a flibberty-gibbet like this bother you, because think of all the people who read your article and said, that's right. But there's a picture of her, and she looks pretty young, so she's not aged like me and has all this track time to learn, gain some immunity. But I haven't read her book, but it's Jill Chapin. If you have kids, then be a parent. I just like the attitude in the title. It tells me a lot about the person. And don't worry about the silly people who say, oh, there are people who kill their kids. I guess then nobody should even have them. Let's take the argument farther. Not that there shouldn't be parents or family. We shouldn't even have kids. Let's just clone. I wonder how this woman who wrote this letter to the editor would like to live in an environment with only people with her way of thinking. You know, I've asked this in groups. You know, think about how you value and how you want to do your own thing. Imagine if I made an entire population around you of people who did what they felt like. Nobody who believed in ideals and laws and morality and the Bible, and nobody who struggled to care about the other person, only what they wanted, and rationalized everything else away. And I have had audiences with this shock of recognition that that would be an unbearable and unsafe world for them. So, there you are. There you are. People who give absurd extremes to try to eliminate an ideal are amoral. They don't have a system of morality. They have only a system of, I wanna. And my idea of hell for them is to spend eternity surrounded only by people who do what they wanna. So evil. I'm Dr. Laura Schlesinger. My number 1-800-Dr. Laura. Tina, welcome to the program.
Hello, thank you.
My pleasure.
I'm calling because I have pretty much a situation where my mother, about I think 10 months ago, moved in with her cousin, and they are in a sexual intimate relationship, and they live together. And
your mother is shacking up with her cousin. Is this the first, second, third, or 14th cousin?
First.
First cousin.
Yes, and they look alike. And they
Twins, separated at birth.
Yes, and they live together, and I haven't talked to her because when it came out,
Well, I don't know. Tell me, is the cousin a male or a female?
it's a guy.
Oh, okay. I was just checking.
Thank God for that.
Really? I'll play with you later. Go ahead.
Yeah, the minute, actually the time that we found out about it, my brother found them in a sexual compromising position.
Well, who was on top?
He was.
Oh,
And,
so your mother is traditional in some ways.
yes. Think about
How old are you?
I'm 25.
Thank God you're not a minor. I just thought I should have asked you that first before I made these comments about your mother. All right.
I'm old enough. I know right from wrong, I think. Well, anyway, when this came about, we confronted her on it, and she denied. My brother made things up, didn't see anything, and that was the last.
How old is your brother?
He's 27.
And your brother doesn't know what intercourse looks like.
Right. Of course.
Oh, you mean he walked in on them and then tiptoed out and they never saw him?
And yeah.
Your brother is very quiet.
Well, no, he made it known. I lived next door, and there was a major fight, and I came over and found out what happened. And,
So she's denying that he saw, even though there was a major fight about it.
right. She said everything was fabricated. He didn't see it. So left and moved in with him, and I have not spoke to her for almost actually a year. And I finally did call her. And the thing that I'm dealing with is trying to understand, like I didn't talk to her for a lot of other reasons, like of old things that had happened, but that was kind of like the straw that broke the back. But now you're with your cousin? I mean, that was just a little much. And now my brother still won't talk to my mom, refuses to talk to her and doesn't accept it. So I'm wondering this is what I'm wondering. I have talked to her. I did call her and explain to her how I felt and why I didn't want to talk to her. And that.
So you called her to tell her why you didn't want to talk to her. I like that. That has some clarity to it. I have to take a break. I want to come back and hear more about the perils of your mother, so stay with me. I'm Dr. Laura Schlesinger. This is news program on News Radio 950 WIBX.
It's alright, it's okay, welcome to this life, killing time, just watching the grass grow. It's alright, it's okay, welcome.
Alrighty, I'm Dr. Laura Schlesinger, talking to Tina, whose mother keeps her romantic allegiances all in the family.
Yes.
All right, so what's your question for me?
The question is that as I said, I did talk to her. Just this one time I actually finally talked.
Okay, but what's your question for me?
Question is, even though I don't want to judge her by what she's doing, I don't want to.
Well, that's absurd. Why would you not want to judge somebody's behavior? What do you judge then if not their behavior?
But even though she's my mother, is that like a reason that you wouldn't talk to her because her choice?
You're asking me two different things. It's absurd not to judge. Why do you think we have laws and morality?
Right.
What do you think they're, and most people seem to think they're optional. There's a consequence when you don't play the game right. I don't know if you're more upset that she's shacking up or it's with her first cousin or all of the above.
All of the above.
The shacking up is enough to get my attention. If they're not making babies, then the first cousin bit is not an issue.
Right, and there's a child that's involved, which is what I said to her when I called.
There's a child. They made a baby?
No, she moved in with him and his son.
Oh, well, I think that's despicable, slimy, smarmy behavior on both of their parts.
Right.
Okay, why would you not judge this? This is inappropriate for the child.
Right. I did judge it. That's why I didn't talk to her all that time, and then I thought that...
Okay, but there are two different issues in here. We judge it. That's separate from whether you're going to talk to her or not.
Okay.
You can be disgusted and tell her that, crawling under slime is the highest number you'll give her. But if you wish to discontinue all contact, that's something separate.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if you're trying to shun her to get her to change her actions.
No, because I know that won't work. She's done a lot of things like this in the past, and she just does what...
Okay, well, your mother is true to form.
Right.
There's nothing new here, so you're not going to change her.
Right. But if I don't talk to her, that is judging her. If I would...
No, telling her you think what she's doing is slime is judging her. Talking to her or not is separate from that.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. But even when I talk to her, I have no respect for her.
I understand that.
So it's kind of, then I wonder, maybe I shouldn't have even called because I feel like I should because she's my mother.
Well, you can say that. I'm making this contact because you're my mother, and I feel like I'm supposed to. On the other hand, there's nothing here to admire or respect. You're not making much effort to be substantial. I mean, you can have these discussions. You're an adult.
Right.
I think you're entitled to have these discussions.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because I think it's something you need to work through.
Right. Which is what I thought, which is why I tried to talk to her.
I understand, but don't try to talk to her in the notion of changing her.
Right. So I can talk to her
And still judge her.
and still judge her.
Yes,
Okay.
as you can.
And seeing her separately, asking if I have not seen her in over a year, but we haven't made any arrangements to actually get together, which I don't know if I really want to do that. But if I would choose to do that,
Well, she'll probably not go along with it, so
I might not have a choice, really, then.
you might not have a choice, but not seeing him doesn't change the reality of him. That's like sticking your head in the sand.
Right. Right. So I just have to,
It's up to you what you just have to. You don't have to anything. It's up to you how you proceed. I can understand that you want to maintain some contact.
right. I didn't at first, and then everybody was saying, people say to me, she's your mother, your mother will...
Yes, but you're her daughter, and she's not living up to anything about that. I think it goes both ways.
I thought so, too.
I know in the commandments it doesn't say honor your children. It should have.
Right.
Live in a way which doesn't dishonor your children is what it ought to have said.
Right.
But nobody asked me. I'm Dr. Laura Schlesinger. My number, I'm not that old. I wasn't around. 1-800 Dr. Laura, 1-800-DRLAURA. Kim, welcome to the program.
Hi, Dr. Laura.
Hi, Kim.
My husband asked me to call you today.
And you're always so obedient.
Most of the time.
Oh. Okay, what's on your mind?
Well, we have 5 children,
Oh, and how old are they?
ages 5 months to 6.5 years.
Oh, you got all little kids.
All little kids.
Boy, you two are busy.
Yeah. But he's an over-the-road truck driver. So he's busy in another area than what I am.
Right.
And that's what part of the issue is that he wanted me to call you about.
How often is he home?
He comes home somewhere between 2 and 3 weeks. He'll be out, and then he'll be home for usually about 5 days.
This is wholly unacceptable when you've made babies. I don't think he expected that I would act to that. I mean, what is the point of fathering children you're not there to do? Is it just to keep the genes going? I have a problem with this,
Well, I knew you would.
which is why you agreed to call. I knew it just wasn't the fact that you were obedient. What's your question for me?
Well, now we have agreed to go into a business venture of network marketing.
I have
And,
no idea what that means, and please don't explain it to me. I'm too stupid about business.
okay.
But what does that mean in concrete terms, in terms of time and activity? He's giving up the truck driving?
No. But I
So
would,
he'd like both of you to be away from the kids more than he is now?
well, the reason that
Oh, wait a minute. That was a yes or a no question. This plan would lead you cumulatively both to be away from the kids more than he is now?
yes.
Well, obviously this gets a no.
But in the
They hardly see their dad. There is no long run for kids getting love and attention and nurturance now. There is no long run.
But I see it as the only option to bring him home.
You just told me that, wait a minute, I did ask you, would he still be driving the truck?
He would be until we get the business going. So I would be...
Well, I asked you 2 questions and you took me in another road.
I'm sorry.
The implication was that you two would be away cumulatively more hours than he is just by driving. You said yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood.
Okay.
In the beginning,
Okay, tell me what we'd end up with. Just give me the bottom line. What would we end up with in terms of time with the kids?
I would be home probably 20 to 30 hours less per month than what
Okay, when your youngest is 3 years old, per month?
per month.
20 to 30 hours per month. Okay, Kim, I can't sit here and do calculations. You have 5 very small children who need constant attention.
And I am with them 24 hours.
But that's what they need.
Yes.
They need that.
Okay.
I mean, I don't understand where we're going from here. You've got a 5-month-old kid. What do you expect to do with that?
To have Grandma and Grandpa watch him a couple times a month.
A couple of times a month. So this would be a couple of times a month you'd be out.
Probably 4 or 5 times a month, yes.
Now it's growing.
No.
Exactly how many times a month, and how can you be assured that it's only 4 days a month?
Well, I can choose which meetings I go to and which ones I don't.
Okay, well, if 4 days a month you need to be somewhere else, and Grandma and Grandpa are taking care of the kids, that sounds fine.
Okay.
And I appreciate your call. I'm Dr. Laura Schlesinger. My number, 1-800-Dr. Laura. Oh, man. 1-800-DRLAURA. Diane, welcome to the program.
Hi there, Dr. Laura. Can
Hi.
I say, in my humble opinion, I think you are a voice of reason in a world insane sometimes.
Thank you. And the correct way to say that is in my never to be humble opinion.
Oh.
All right? Never be humble about your opinion.
Okay.
All right. What can I do for you?
I'm stuck on a fence, and I'm hoping you can help push me either way. I feel like I haven't been a very good friend to a friend of mine. The reason I don't think I've been a good friend is I've been I've been avoiding her. Basically because I think her husband is a verbally abusive jerk. And a part of me says a good friend would suck it up, quit avoiding her, and be a friend.
Have you ever said your husband's a verbally abusive jerk?
No, I haven't, and that's...
See, I think a friend would do that.
See, and that's where... Okay, then that's what I needed to hear.
I think a friend would sit down and say, I don't know what your perspective is on love, but your husband is verbally abusive, and this is disgusting to watch. It drops my heart out, and I kind of avoided you because of it.
And there's a child in the house now.
And there's a child in the house now.
Yeah. Okay, that's...
I warn you, it's very likely that she'll do nothing about it.
Right. See, I guess the reason I was torn is I heard you once talking, and see, I was her maid of honor. Now, I didn't know him that well because I was living out of the city when she asked me to be her maid of honor.
Okay, Diane? You're going on with a story.
Okay.
Neither of us needs the story. The reality is if you're a friend,
I'd tell her what...
then you tell her.
Okay.
And you tell her that he and she need professional help, or they'll bring a kid up in a nightmare home.
You're right. And like I said, I was stuck and they needed a push.
Work on the guilt. You may be willing to tolerate this crap as an adult, but this is very destructive to a child's mind and heart.
Right.
It's abusive to children.
I agree.
Okay, so if that's your perspective, don't be humble about it, but give her an alternative. I think it's not fun and useful to tell somebody, this just sucks, and then not give them some direction they can go in.
Right.
Some professional help so that they can make a home that's better. I mean, he's not doing that out of goodness.
Right.
He's not doing that out of strength.
Right.
He's a weenie and hiding the fact.
I agree.
All right, but he'll get stronger and deal with his fears of his masculinity and whatever have you if he gets some help.
Sounds good.
So tweak away.
Okay, may I add one last thing?
Sure.
I just want to say I'm a high school teacher, and I often tell my high school girls to listen to you.
Thank you.
And I've had a couple that have actually come to me and say, you know, she can be really nasty, but she's got a lot of good points.
Well, to some people who are so unused to hearing good points said with no humility, they consider it mean or nasty, simply because you're not supposed to talk truths if they hurt anybody's feelings or crunch their self-esteem. You don't talk truth. You just don't. It's not politically correct. You're listening to the Dr. Laura Schlesinger program on News Radio 950 WIBX.
Asking, is there something I need to do?
He needs psychiatric intervention. Get on a plane and get him over to a hospital real fast. They do 72 hours. They can hold a person and make a good assessment as to the possibilities of them hurting themselves or somebody else.
Okay. Is there any place you would suggest? Just any hospital?
Well, in Southern California, there are a lot of major hospitals, all of whom have psychiatric units. I'm not recommending one. They're all extremely good.
Okay.
But if you have somebody who's not been too competent in life, has lost this, lost that, lost the other thing, and is hinting about suicide, there's a strong likelihood that even an attempt, even if it's to manipulate other people and not a true suicide attempt, it could still end up in a person being dead.
Exactly. And he's, the only son I have.
Well, then I would hang up the phone, get on a plane, go there, and haul him off real fast, or call somebody to come get you, or, have him assessed professionally.
Okay. I appreciate that. I just, it's so difficult for me because I've never had this happen before.
I understand that. It's extremely scary.
Yes. Okay, and I should take it seriously, you're saying?
Absolutely. I'd rather, listen, if you're going to look stupid, I'd rather you look stupid in the direction of making sure it doesn't happen than saying, oh, well, I thought he was only kidding, and we're burying him.
Right. Well, I was going to wait till your birthday bash. I've already got tickets to come, but I won't wait to go down there till then.
No, we got a week and a half till my birthday. Let's get him on his feet.
That's my birthday, too. Thanks.
Well, happy birthday to us all. Let's make sure this isn't a nightmare.
Thank you.
All right, Mom.
Bye.
Take care. Oh, how scary. I can't imagine anything more scary than your kid saying that, other than it happening. I'm Dr. Laura Schlesinger. My number 1-800-Dr. Laura. Kathy, welcome to the program.
Hello?
Hi, Kathy.
Hi, how you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Good.